a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University. This information was also conveyed to the FBI. Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger
this is
at
live.
approximately 8:29 a.m.
So there
on
you go.
September 10th, in which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th, in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate. The family member also confirmed Robinson had a gray Dodge Challenger. Investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages, including content of messages between the phone contact named Tyler with an emoji icon and Robinson's roommate's device. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point.
I'm going to try to find another feed where it's not just in one side of the
messages related to
one channel,
to visually watching the area where a rifle was left.
Bear with
and
me
a
here.
Message referring to having left
I'll do it during
a
a break.
Wrapped in a towel. The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact Tyler also mentioned that he had changed outfits. I know there has been speculation as well as to the writing on those casings, those bullet casings, and I believe we have that as well. And I will share that with you now.
The chat on this Forbes feed is
crazy. So the area north of Campus Drive Road where the suspect crossed over, you saw some of that in the video that we released last night, consists of a grassy area with
this is
trees
driving
on
me
the
nuts.
edge of the
I'm sorry,
UVU
I am going to
campus.
find a different channel.
Investigators discovered a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a dark-colored towel. The rifle was determined to be a Mauser Model 98.
What's interesting too, they arrested somebody with a rifle with a scope yesterday.
On top of it. Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices, bulges, capital O-W-O, what's this, question mark." Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist, exclamation point, catch, exclamation point." Up arrow symbol, right arrow, and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow," and a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO."
Okay, hang on a second. Let me find a better feed because this one's absolutely driving me nuts. Let's try a New York Post feed.
Public who has been so engaged,
much better.
reviewing videos, helping us with sending in tips, and helping us get to this point. I want to thank the family members of Tyler Robinson who did the right thing in this case and were able to bring him into.
If you're just joining us, they apparently caught the suspect they were looking for.
Especially
the family of the suspect turned him in.
The family of Charlie Kirk. Erica, Charlie's parents,
I'm going to leave the
his
chat
children.
up too.
I want us to be thinking of them as we bring justice in this case. They will be involved in that justice. We will be working very closely with them.
The chat's going by so fast in this one. This is the New York Post feed.
This is a very sad day for our country, a terrible day for the state of Utah. But I'm grateful that at this moment we have an opportunity to bring closure to this very dark chapter in our nation's history.
This isn't closure yet. It's closure when they prove that he did it and that he goes to jail or worse. Here's Kash Patel about to talk about it.
This is what happens when you let good cops be cops. The FBI and our partners are proud to stand here today together to bring justice.
They found him awfully fast, I'll tell you that.
Charlie Kirk, in honor of his memory. I want to express my deep gratitude to President Trump, the Vice President, and the entire White House who have been so incredibly supportive with both resources and just personally to the FBI as a team. They had our backs the entire way, and I just want to express my gratitude for giving us the resources we need to operate in this space to bring this sort of justice at this sort of speed. In 33 hours, we have made historic progress for Charlie. Governor Cox, our partnership has been absolutely incredible these last few days. Our partnership will endure. Your state and local partners, your sheriffs, your DPS community has been unbelievably impressive in the hardest of times. And a case like this cannot be solved, cannot be brought without partnering with your state and local authorities. The FBI has a certain role to play. We will play that role, and we will lead out to the federal government. Governor Cox, we are so grateful for your state partnership that led out on this investigation. A little bit of the timeline. Charlie was shot at 12:23 p.m. on Wednesday. The first FBI agents arrived on scene in 16 minutes with chiefs of police at 12:39 and secured the scene. The FBI immediately launched fixed-wing assets. We utilized these assets to transport personnel, specialty technicians, hostage rescue teams. We also utilized these assets to go back and forth from the East Coast and here in Utah to transport forensic evidence and other evidence that will be analyzed and is being analyzed at our FBI laboratories in Quantico and other laboratories, incling the ATF.
Rick Ashberger, yes, they got the suspect. Now, at this point, he's still the suspect.
Of the suspect at 10 a.m.
But they've got a lot of details they're giving out already.
Then, shortly thereafter, the FBI reward of $100,000 was released.
This is live, by the way.
Local. Myself and Deputy Director Bongino arrived on the scene at approximately 5:30 p.m. on 9/11. The governor led a press conference last night at approximately 8 p.m. where, at my direction, the FBI released a never-before-seen video of the suspect. We also released new images to the public of the suspect. And just last night, the suspect was taken into custody at 10 p.m. local time. In less than 36 hours.
That is true, Rick.
To be precise. Thanks to the full weight
his family turned him in.
And leading out with the partners here in the state of Utah and Governor Cox, the suspect was apprehended in a historic time period. And I want to highlight what Governor Cox said. This would not have been possible without you, the media, and you, the public. That's why we went so public, so fast, and we're so transparent, and we're committed to that transparency. The crime scene, just a little bit there. It is a large crime scene. State and local authorities, along with federal authorities, processed that crime scene quickly. And I even had the ability to walk through that crime scene and walk through the
I hope you
steps
didn't disturb it, Cash.
the suspect took to learn more about what was needed and what resources we needed to bear to create a full picture for the FBI and leadership back in Washington. Furthermore, thankfully to state and local partners, forensic evidence has been seized and continues to be garnered. Forensic evidence has already been evaluated at FBI laboratories in Quantico and state and local authorities here. We will continue to process evidence as we see it, as we collect it, and we will continue to deliver to Governor Cox and his team. Last night we had a total of approximately 7,000 leads. As of this morning, thanks to your great work, we have over 11,000 leads that were called in to the FBI. And we are running out every single lead that we can. Every one of those leads will be run out. The arrest is a testament to the dedication of good law enforcement being great. and partnerships in law enforcement, which I've tried to highlight as my tenure as the director of the FBI. There is no better relationship for law enforcement than the FBI to partner with state and local authorities, and you've seen it here in these last few days. The FBI Salt Lake Field Office, along with our offices in LA, Phoenix, Denver, San Antonio, Las Vegas, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, our headquarters component in Quantico, all participate in the FBI. I want to express my deep gratitude to the employees of the FBI, the men and women, the evidence response team tacticians, the special operators, the agents, the support staff. You have done monumental work in historic time when the public, who had a right to demand such an expeditious solving of an investigation, the FBI answered that call diligently, critically important to our nation, and we delivered. And I'm proud to be their leader, and I'm proud to be the director of the FBI. This is very much an ongoing investigation, as the governor said, and we will continue to work with state and local authorities to develop the investigation, to provide them the evidence they need for their ongoing prosecutions, and we will be here to answer every call they absolutely have, as long as it takes, for as long as we need to find and apprehend whatever suspects were involved in this crime. Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
Thank you, and good morning. I would just like to take a few minutes as the sheriff to express my gratitude for everybody who has played a part in this investigation. As you know, it's been a vast, a complicated, and a very, very fast-paced investigation. You're looking at people standing up here who are running on, if they got an hour's sleep in the last couple of days, they're probably lucky. It has been very taxing. It has been so impressive speaking on behalf of the local law enforcement to see the cooperation that we've seen in this type of case. Across the state, sheriffs, chiefs, our state partners have stepped up and have come to the call on anything that we needed. Our county chiefs have been phenomenal. Our Utah County Attorney, Jeff Gray, who's standing up here with us, has been phenomenal in leading us through this investigation. I would like to thank the federal government for their resources, their assets. Our local team here, our FBI team, has been extraordinary in helping us work through this and bring this person to justice. Most of all, I would like to thank the public, and specifically, I would like to thank the public who turned to prayers and who turned to positiveness for us. I would like to thank them on behalf of the law enforcement community because we needed those prayers. That's what we needed to get through this. We needed your support, and you gave it to us. We needed your patience, and you gave it to us. And I would like to thank you for the Kirk family because that's what they need, is your support and your prayers, and that will get us through all of this.
If you're just getting here, they caught the suspect they were looking for in the Charlie Kirk assassination.
Response to this. Thank you.
I also want to give a special thanks to the Attorney General and the Department of Justice. Their unwavering support and their commitment to justice is shown true here. And without AG Bondi and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche and the resources they brought to bear, we would not have been able to complete our mission. And I just want to say special thanks. It's an honor to be a part of the Department of Justice.
Thank you again to our incredible law enforcement team who has worked so hard. Sheriff, I got a solid 90 minutes last night, so I'm probably the most well-rested person up here. Ladies and gentlemen, I get the microphone, so I hope you'll permit me a moment just to share a few more thoughts about where we are and how we got here, and maybe a little bit of where we go from here. I don't want to get too preachy, but I think it's important that we, with eyes wide open, understand what's happening in our country today. I've heard people say, well, why are we so invested in this. There's violence happening all across our country. And violence is tragic everywhere. And every life taken is a child of God who deserves our love and respect and dignity. This is certainly about the tragic death, assassination, political assassination of Charlie Kirk. But it is also much bigger than an attack on an individual. It is an attack on all of us. It is an attack on the American experiment. It is an attack on our ideals. This cuts to the very foundation of who we are, of who we have been, and who we could be in better times. Political violence is different than any other type of violence for lots of different reasons. One, because in the very act that Charlie championed of expression, that freedom of expression that is enshrined in our founding documents, in having his life taken in that very act, makes it more difficult for people to feel like they can share their ideas, that they can speak freely. We will never be able to solve all the other problems, including
share the stream if you get a chance,
that people are worried about, if we can't have a clash of ideas safely and securely. Even, especially those ideas with which you disagree. That's why this matters so much. Over the last 48 hours, I have been as angry as I have ever been, as sad as I have ever been. And it was, as anger pushed me to the brink, it was actually Charlie's words that pulled me back. I'd like to share some of those. And specifically right now, if I could, I need to talk to the young people in our state, in my state, and all across the country.
Good Lord.
As President Trump reminded me, he said, you know who really loved Charlie? The youths. And he's right. Young people loved Charlie, and young people hated Charlie. And Charlie went into those places anyway. And these are the words that have helped me. Charlie said, when people stop talking, that's when you get violence. He said, the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. The only way out of the labyrinth of suffering.
Are you guys not hearing this? You can't hear the video?
Welcome without judgment, love without condition, forgive without limit. He said, always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much. A few months ago, I referenced this last night, Charlie posted to social media, when things are moving very fast and people are losing their minds, it's important to stay grounded. Turn off your phone, read scripture, spend time with friends, and remember, internet fury is not real life. It's going to be okay. He again said, when you stop having a human connection with someone you disagree with, it becomes a lot easier to commit violence.
I don't know why it's low.
He said, what we as a culture have to get back to is being able to have a reasonable agreement, where violence is not an option. Now, again, to my young friends out there,
hopefully that's better.
You are inheriting a country where politics feels like rage. It feels like rage is the only option. But through those words, we have a reminder that we can choose a different path. Your generation has an opportunity to build a culture that is very different than what we are suffering through right now. Not by pretending differences don't matter, but by embracing our differences and having those hard conversations. I think we need more moral clarity right now. I hear all the time that words are violence. Words are not violence. Violence is violence.
Ding! Oh, hell yeah.
And there is one person responsible for what happened here. And that person is now in custody and will be charged soon and will be held accountable. And yet, all of us have an opportunity right now to do something different. I want to thank my fellow Utahns.
I don't want to be that guy.
You know, this.
Does anyone feel like they caught him a little too fast?
And for 33 hours.
And these fuckers putting up Palestine flags. Fuck you,
I was
people.
praying that
it has nothing to do with Palestine.
That, if this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us. That somebody drove from another state, somebody came from another country. Sadly, that prayer was not answered the way I hoped for. Just because I thought it would make it easier on us if we could just say, hey, we don't do that here. And indeed, Utah is a special place. We lead the nation in charitable giving. We lead the nation in service every year. But it did happen here. And it was one of us. But I want you to look at how Utahns reacted the last 2 nights. There was no rioting. There was no looting. There were no cars set on fire. There was no violence. There were vigils and prayers and people coming together to share the humanity. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe is the answer to this. We can return violence with violence. We can return hate with hate. And that's the problem with political violence, is it metastasizes. Because we can always point the finger at the other side. And at some point, we have to find an off-ramp, or it's going to get much, much worse. But see, these are choices.
A lot of people condoning this, though. You wait till we see some of these videos I go to.
If this is a turning point for our country.
Turning point, no pun intended.
But every single one of us gets to choose right now if this is a turning point for us. We get to make decisions. We have our agency. And I desperately call on every American, Republican, Democrat, liberal, progressive, conservative, MAGA, all of us to please, please, please follow what Charlie taught me.
It's not upside down, Lord Stanhope.
I'll just conclude with...
You're just looking through Cash Patel's eyes.
Often from a friend and author Yuval Levin, who was asked if he was optimistic about our country. And he said, I'm not optimistic. He said, I hate optimism. God, that sounds bad. But he said, optimism is a vice. It's this idea that good things are just going to happen. He said, in the history of the world, good things have never just happened. He says, I'm not optimistic, but I am hopeful. And hope is the virtue that sits between the vices of optimism and pessimism. Hope is the idea that good things are going to happen because we can make them so. I still believe in our country. And I know Charlie Kirk believed in our country. I still believe that there is more good among us than evil. And I still believe that we can change the course of history. I'm hopeful because Americans can make it so. Ladies and gentlemen, we're happy to answer any questions you might have.
Governor, can you please speak to whether
this is the governor of Utah
is speaking with authorities and his demeanor, Tyler Robinson, when he turned himself in?
I cannot speak to that.
Governor, how do you interpret the engravings on the casing?
Well, I will leave that up to you to interpret what those engravings mean. I think the clearest one that says "catch fascist," there's not. And by the way, that's like catch like a ball, catch this. That's I think that speaks for itself.
Governor, you talked about this hatred that this person expressed at a dinner. Beyond that, is there anything in your view that you've discovered that may have radicalized or changed him to prompt him to commit such a horrific act?
There's nothing more that we can share.
How would they know at this point, other than he went to college, and that probably radicalized him?
Do you anticipate any more arrests?
We do not at this time have any information that would lead to any additional arrests.
Do you believe he acted alone?
Yes.
It was a hunting
But
rifle.
the investigation is ongoing.
It's a 30-06 with a scope. Any deer hunter would have one.
Custody of police and where he is right now?
Not any deer hunter, but most.
Yes, so right now, Mr.
common
Robinson has
rifle.
been booked into the Utah County Jail. You heard the president this morning report that he was taken into custody, that his family and a friend helped to deliver him into custody of law enforcement in Washington County. Those of you that don't know where Washington County is, it is the southernmost, southwesternmost part of the state of Utah. It's about a 3.5 to 4 hour drive from here, where we are right now, and that's where he lived and where they turned him.
Is that more about the family is saying about Tyler Robinson?
I can't share any more than what I've already shared.
Is he talking
Governor,
with
do you have
authorities?
details on how he got back to Washington County?
Yeah, we do already know a lot about this kid. A lot of people are tweeting about him on X.
How we obtained
He's already got a. There's a hashtag, not, a trending topic about the
I
kid.
don't have much more details on that. We do know that he drove. We had his car here on campus, and then we had his car going south back to the St. George. It's actually the city of Washington in Washington County.
Is he talking with authorities and did he discuss a voting?
I'm sorry.
Did the suspect plan to carry out any other attacks?
We don't have any information that will
Are you
release.
going to be releasing the mugshot?
Yes, in fact, it was just released.
Is he
Yes.
talking with authorities and did he discuss a voting?
I can't answer that right now.
Can you clarify?
You've spoken very eloquently about trying to reunite this country. Do you feel that
If you're just getting here, they have an arrest in the Charlie Kirk
I
assassination.
absolutely believe that this is a watershed in American history, yes. The question is what kind of watershed? And that chapter remains to be written. Is this the end of a dark chapter in our history or the beginning of a darker chapter in our history? Look, I mean, if you look at true political assassinations in this country of someone of this stature, this feels a lot like the late 60s. And having one so gruesomely displayed on camera in all of our hands and in all of our pockets, we are not wired as human beings biologically, historically. We have not evolved in a way that we are capable of processing those types of violent imagery. And by the way, we've seen another one with a gruesome stabbing very recently that went viral. This is not good for us. It is not good to consume. Social media is a cancer on our society right now. And I would encourage people to log off, turn off, touch grass, hug a family member, go out and do good in your community. That is happening, and it's happening organically right now. I had a friend in a small city in Utah who said, we're getting together, the Republicans and Democrats in my little town are getting together to have a discussion tonight, last night, just to find a way to find their better angels. So yes, this could be, I mean, again, you have to go back to JFK to have seen a video live of something like this happening. I wasn't born until 1975, but I know that things were really dark in the late 60s. Sorry to some of you. I know some of you were there. But this is our moment. Do we escalate or do we find an off-ramp? And again, it's a choice. It's a choice, and every one of us gets to make that choice. Two more questions.
Problem is, there's too many people who don't want an off-ramp.
Clarify
They see this as a
the release
victory.
of those enhanced images at 8 p.m., the timeline that Director Patel gave us led to the arrest at 10 p.m. Is there a direct connection between those two events?
I cannot comment if there is a direct connection or not, but all I can say is that through some process, the family came to know that this had happened.
One more thing, Governor. Could you just clarify the clothing issue you mentioned earlier? Was he changing outfits?
I'm going to break away from this pretty soon.
Yes. So when he's first spotted on campus, he has different clothing on, and then he changes clothing on the roof, and then changed back into that clothing at some point, so that when when he was apprehended, when he was arrested, the clothing matched the clothing he had on before the shooting here at UVU. Last question here.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Is this kid a genius? Plan this out?
Yeah.
Clearly he's not. He's caught.
I don't have any information on the mental illness part. He was not a student here at UVU. He was living and had lived for a long time with his family in Washington County. Thank you, everyone, for your great work in getting this information out. I would just say, process-wise, this may be important. I know many of you aren't familiar with the process in Utah. I think it's important that you understand that. Basically, we have 3 days for charging documents to be filed. A CI will be filed. We'll have more information then, more detailed information as those charging documents are filed in preparation for a preliminary hearing. So 3 days. So we would anticipate then that early next week those charging documents will be filed. We will obviously be working. The county attorney will be working very closely with Mr. Kirk's family as those documents and decisions are prepared and made. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, it looks like that is the end of the press conference. All right, so there you go. For those who are just getting here, I didn't change this yet either. They have caught a suspect in the slaying of Charlie Kirk. He was turned in by his family. The FBI and local law enforcement had a joint effort to get that, to catch him. And his family was involved in that process. Looks like they turned him in. And so I'll leave a link to that whole press conference, which will be obviously on, there'll be a replay available of it if you want to watch the whole thing if you missed it. So anyway, give me 1 minute and I'll be ready for the show. See you in a minute. Let's play the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only PDawgKnight.
Okay, less than a minute. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet, as you saw from that press conference. If you were here, if you're just getting here, we just had a press conference. They did catch the assassin, alleged assassin of Charlie Kirk. And so today on Friday Free For All, we were going to just watch some videos of people reacting to this, but we got the bonus plan with the press conference there. Kash Patel, the governor, and one of the lead law enforcement people in Utah all spoke at the press conference. And I'm trying to see here if there's no updates. Well, there's updates everywhere. We'll get into it because I don't even have a lot of tabs open because we're just going to spend time talking about this. But and the only other, even the holidays, I don't have a holiday to do here. Let's find a holiday to talk about real quick, and then we'll say hi to everybody and get this thing going. So let's see, today's special holidays. I'll say hi in a minute. Plus, it's Friday Q&A. Give me your Friday Q&A questions. I'm going to kind of intersperse them to start because there's not a spacer, but that's okay. It's all good. I'll get a couple of these questions out from Lord Stanhope and whatever. But anyway, the holidays today, it's National Chocolate Milkshake Day. Yeah. Also, National Video Games Day. If you're into video games, National Day of Encouragement. That was yesterday, too. Stand Up to Cancer Day. If you can still stand. Oh, that's nasty. National Policewoman Day. Oh, what's that? Who was the, what was, that show Angie Dickinson was in? Remember that show? She was famous for, she was a cop, and she was really a tough cop for a woman and all that. What was that show called? I remember. And then there's also Petru Paksha Day. Still, it's again, this is like 5 days in a row. Petru Paksha Day with little cones of rice. Anyway, good morning. And let's say hi to everyone in the chat, though, because that's what I do, too. First in the chat today, Wheezy McBluntblowin, aka JB, what's up? You get the bell. Yeah, baby, you were first. Also, good morning, Green Badger Outdoors, Resolute Germ, Mike Savage, Blarg, Attack Alpacas in the house, Blue Eyed Scream. Let's see, Rick Ashbringer. Did I already say Rick Ashbringer? I don't know. Miss Wild Wolf is here. The Pope is here with an inspiring message. Yes, it is Pope Tyrannius III. The blessed lich, blessings of the divine dead, may heaven's blessing become showering rain that cleanse all the sad and hate from your day. What a beautiful message, and we sure need that, don't we? We need that cleansing. Oh wow, there's a weird thing going on with my there's a weird thing going on with my my shirt here from the Spam Museum. Let me fix that. Good God. Oh shoot, what did I do there? That's not what I meant to do. Hang on. I'm gonna fix that because I don't want you to be able to see through my body, because that's weird, right? It's weird when you can see through my body. Configure video and fix this nonsense and see if it gets better. Let's try contrast. We'll check that out. Nope, that's not doing it. What the hell? All right, well, let's try saturation. Will that fix it? Nope, that's not gonna fix it. Sharpness? No. White balance? No, none of this is working. Oh, that's weird. Oh, you know what I need to do? I just figured it out. Well, I guess I'm just gonna... Oh, I took out the backlight filler. Is that all it took? Holy smokes, that worked. God dog. Okay, so there's not a lot of backlight anyway here, but it makes me darker. So let me make. I'm trying to make myself beautiful for you guys. Please bear with me, because that takes a lot of effort on my part, because I'm not that good looking a guy. There we go. Oh, now you can see me. That's beautiful. The backlight's not messed up. Oh, okay, there you go. And you can't see through any of my stuff. I'm such a weirdo. Anyway, if you want to sponsor the show, in some nominal way or in a big way, either way, and Johnny Boomertech's working, putting the links in the chat where you can do that. If you haven't shared the stream yet, I'm getting rid of this pinned message, so I hope you did already. Let's all right, so we did the holidays. Oh, did I finish saying hi to everybody? Who else is here? There was a new person here too. Midnight's in the house. What up, Midnight? Lord Stanhope is here. Got Tyre. Let's see, I'm just gonna keep going here. Anna Lynn, what's up? And where's the new voice? I was so excited to see a new face. Godzilla is here. What's up, 2K26? Welcome. And it was a red Affy somewhere down here. Where the hell did it go? Willie is in the chat. There it is. Phantom Mirror. That's a new name. I'm glad you're here. Yes, there were a lot of red flags for that shooting. I don't disagree with you. Also, on the honorable mention list of favorite Canadians, there is Special Can Acid, reminding me that it was Policewoman. Yeah, remember that? Angie Dickinson as Policewoman. Everyone thought Angie Dickinson was super hot back in the day. I didn't see it. I mean, I thought it was attractive, but not hot. But anyway, some people thought she was hot. Anyway, I guess that doesn't really make any difference. All right. Since it is Free for All Friday, I don't necessarily have a plan today. Usually, at least I have some links or tabs open, but I don't. So we're probably gonna watch some videos of people talking about Charlie Kirk. Some good, some bad. But before we do that, let's get to a couple of the questions in advance, just so that I can still read them. Why is this still on here? That should be gone. That should be gone. I'll just remove it. Does that work? No, it's still there. Good God. Can I even refresh this? Here, reload. Let's try that. Okay. That worked. Got rid of it. It was in my way. All right. So on the Friday Q&A, the first question today says, so how many months did it take Cash to accomplish something? Well, we don't know what Cash has accomplished because we don't hear everything that the FBI is doing. I don't know if it's not necessarily a specific accomplishment of his, but he has come out and done press conference on certain things. By the way, Big Dave and Louie in the house. What up, Louie? But if you want to count this as the first thing he's accomplished, then I would say 9 months. But I'm not necessarily in agreement with the sentiment there. I don't know what he does. Also, the question when he said when Kash Patel was talking, he said, he was saying he addressed his friend Charlie Kirk, who is obviously passed, but saying meet you in Valhalla. Lord Stanhope asked, how do Punjabis get into Valhalla? Well, now listen. What is Valhalla heaven? I don't even know. Valhalla? Valhalla? Is that just another name for heaven? Norse mythology for smart people. What? Okay, I don't know that because Cash isn't stupid. Whatever. Lord Stanhope also asked, in your honest opinion as a bartender, who makes the best butter? Ooh. My grandmother made amazing butter. She could still churn butter, and every once in a while she'd make homemade butter. Oh my. It was really good. It was fresh salted butter that she'd make from cream and stuff. And you can make you can still make your own butter. Do you know that? But yeah, my grandmother. But other than that, Land O'Lakes, even though they took the little Indian woman off of it, and I don't mean I mean casino Indian, not call center Indian. Anyway, good morning, Renee Mayette. How you doing? Valhalla is the Viking afterlife, only attainable through death in battle honorably. Oh well. Yeah, now I get it. Thank you for the Norse mythology legend lesson. So there you go. All right, so now I've got that should get me past the little blockade there. Let's talk about a couple things here. Oh wait, thanks to the people who have shared the stream. Let's do that real quick because it took me a minute to do it. So it looks like some of you have done it for me. I appreciate it. Of course, thank you, Lord Stanhope. No, not Lord Stanhope. What I'm saying, Somnambule Nation. What the hell am I doing? I'm looking at the questions, and it's all Lord Stanhope to start. But no, thank you, Somnambule Nation, posting the show on X, the app formerly known as Twitter. Also, Message. I don't know who Message is. If I reposted, you go here. Okay, I don't know. There's only has 9 followers, so I have no idea who Message is. But Lord. I got it on the brain. Somnambule Nation with the also a repost of a reply to mine with a let's go and it's time for punishment. That's scary. Also Green Badger Outdoors with the tank doing shitties, whipping shitties. Now, if you don't know what whipping shitties means, most people in the country say doing donuts or power slides and shit like that. But I found out that people in northern Minnesota, not necessarily the Twin Cities, but in northern and western Minnesota, they call doing donuts in a car, they call it whipping shitties. And I have no idea why. Apparently, maybe in northern Wisconsin, they do that too. So they call it that too. And I found out too, there's some people in like northeast Pennsylvania who say that too. Whipping shitties. That's a weird name for doing donuts, but whatever. But thank you, Green Badger Outdoors, giving it a let's go. Plus this dude, Sid Vicious, which from wrestling fame, he was a scary looking dude. Thank you, Resolute Germ with the Daily Wrestler. I do know Sid Vicious, and he's looking pretty sickly lately though. Anyway, and the Daily Ric Flair, woo, from Tyre Alexander, appreciate that. And then a let's go from Renee Mayette, right to jail right away. Yeah, that if they can prove he did it, I hope they don't have any stupid snafus that they did something stupid that'll let that kid get off if he's the actual killer. Good morning, Shrapnel. By the way, good morning. Someone else showed up. Who else did? I don't know. And then Miss Wild Wolf retweeting the show. Appreciate it. And also posting a show. What is on the agenda today for PDawgKnight? Well, it's free for all Friday, so it could be just about anything, especially when it comes to Friday Q&A. If you have questions, ask me anything, and it can be about anything for anything. It doesn't have to be serious. It can be funny. Often Avocados Diabli, who thinks he's funny, asks questions that are mildly funny, and then sometimes he is actually hilarious. But we'll see what happens today. I don't even see him yet. Are you here, AD? AD's not even here. What the hell? I'm scrolling through the chat. I don't see AD yet. So when he gets here, here's what I want you to do. When AD does get to the chat, if he does today, I want everyone to type in the words warm welcome. If you see AD in the chat, type the word in all caps, warm welcome for AD. If he shows up, we'll see what happens. Okay, and then the people which retweet the show, Ms. Wild Wolf, and obviously Midnight on that picture, Tyre Alexander, Sound Humble Nation, and Resolute Germ, thank you very much. Also, more stuff. What suspect do they have? Yeah, if you go back to the beginning of the show, you'll see the press conference. Also, thank you, Ms. Wild Wolf, for a let's go. Appreciate that. And I'm reposting all these as we go. Mike Savage with the daily let us go as opposed to let us go because, some Romaine or iceberg. And then how to lose track and piss off the company mechanics in one move. What is this? What are you referring to? Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's replying to Green Badger Outdoors. So, all right, thanks everyone posting the show. I greatly appreciate it. So anyway, as we know, let's, I was going to talk about some other things. Trump went to the Yankees game last night and honored 9/11 heroes. President Donald Trump attended the New York Yankees game against the Detroit Tigers on September 11, 2025 to commemorate the 24th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. Amid heightened security due to credible threats linked to a suspect and the recent killing of Charlie Kirk, Trump honored the victims and heroes during the pregame ceremonies, interacted with players like Aaron Judge, and faced a divided crowd of cheers and boos, highlighting ongoing political tensions and national remembrance. So, if you're there to honor the 9/11 heroes, maybe it's a good idea not to boo. But, hey, welcome to America. You can like or hate the president, no matter who they are. So anyway, during this, though, Yankee Stadium goes berserk when the big screen shows President Trump saluting the national anthem. Here's that scene. Maybe. Oh, you can't hear it.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we lay at the twilight?
Yeah, that's definitely a mixed reaction. I wish they wouldn't show him during the national anthem, though. I don't think you give the crowd the opportunity to distract the performer. I think you focus on the performer during the national anthem, and then if you want to show the crowd afterwards or something in the crowd afterwards, then go ahead and show that. But and especially with presidents, because whether it's cheers, boos, or whatever, how about we focus on the national anthem? Show pictures of flags and the singer, and that's it, or performer, I should say. Didn't sound like bees. There were boos and cheers in there. It's interspersed. I mean, and I guarantee you there's videos from the game where someone's sitting around people cheering, and they'll say, oh, everyone was cheering, and there'll be videos of people who are sitting around people who are booing and saying everybody was booing, because that's what happens every time you see one of these things from when the president's shown during a baseball game or during the national anthem or whatever. There were now interesting. There were people in the stadium who had shirts. This guy's had shirts. What the hell's going on there? Commemorating Charlie Kirk. That's pretty interesting, right? In the Yankee Stadium, people. It's funny. I've been seeing a lot of people too who condemn this, even though they're clearly on the left and they clearly don't like Charlie Kirk. And a few people have said, you know what, I'm done with these nut jobs on my side of the aisle. So that's fascinating too. Also, people were contemplating the fact that Trump may have had a stroke. He's getting a droop on one side of his face, almost like he has Bell's palsy. And so a lot of people were posting these pictures yesterday, which who knows what moment they caught Trump in, because I'm looking at other pictures of him where you don't see that. For example, let's look at this picture of him with the Yankees before the game. If this will ever show up on my computer, looks pretty like a normal smile there. It's hard to tell from that distance, but Did they just catch him making a facial expression? Who knows? Anyway, it laughed my ass that President Trump was spotted dancing the YMCA at the Yankee game. 47 brought some light to an otherwise dark day, so that's cute too. All right, so there you go. Trump went to the Yankee game, honoring 9/11 victims and honoring America in that case. Hello, Chris Diaz. Prospective people see stuff from their own lens. Obviously, yeah, it's so yeah, and that's, I see that every time. It's like, oh, like the other day when he was at the U.S. Open, there were people showing video where the people around him were cheering. And they said, oh, everybody's cheering for Donald Trump. And then there were people who were taking video from places where people were booing him. It's like, yeah, everybody's booing Donald Trump. It's mixed reactions. And in fact, at the U.S. Open, I'm a little surprised because tennis is one of those sports that there tend to be a lot more liberals than conservatives. So I'm surprised anyone was cheering him. But there were people cheering him or whatever during the national anthem, whatever. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Doesn't fucking matter. All right, moving on. So up until this morning, the news was FBI's hunting sniper after Charlie Kirk's Utah assassination. Conservative activist Charlie Kirk was assassinated by a sniper during a speaking. Okay, we all know that. And what authorities have classified a target of political violence. The FBI is leading a nationwide manhunt for the suspect, having released surveillance footage and photos of the person of interest while recovering evidence like a bolt-action rifle from the scene. A 30-06, if you didn't already hear that. And amid national mourning, tributes from figures like Vice President Vance and Senator Bernie Sanders, highlighting growing concerns over rising political violence with Kirk's legacy as Trump's ally and faith-driven leader, drawing widespread grief and calls for unity. Well, widespread in most circles, except for some people who are just shitbags. Well, should I call them shitbags? Yeah, they're shitbags. Anyway, good morning, Hoko Sports, by the way. Okay, so lots of people were talking about that. The FBI was looking for the guy. Well, as we know, this morning, they've got the guy. Now, if your name, let me just tell you something. Tyler F., I hope your last name, I hope your middle name initial is not F and your last name is Robinson, because and I hope you don't live in Utah, because if your name is Tyler Robinson and you live in Utah, let me see, right here, this is you right now. Every person named Tyler Robinson in Utah this morning are probably bashing their laptops. They're pounding the floor. They're like, get the fuck off my feed, motherfuckers. Luckily not, LOL. Yeah. So they've caught this guy named Tyler Robinson, and oh my God, do we know a lot about Tyler Robinson already? Because the internet autists have all found links to Tyler Robinson. So in this photo, so these are people talking about this guy that's been caught. Now, I hope this is actually the guy who did it, because holy shit, everyone's just ripping this guy to shreds. In this photo, Tyler Robinson is wearing a red shirt at the Salt Lake Democratic Socialists of America. So congrats, AOC, your people caused this. Now, I'm not ready to blame, or am I? I can't decide. Are we going to blame? Well, obviously we're going to blame Reddick for this. I think we're going to blame the people who cheered the shooting of that CEO from Health, whatever that was called, United Health, and the ones who cheer on political assassinations, or the people who cheered and hoping that Donald Trump actually got killed when he got shot at, who are glorifying that type of thing. I don't think that leads to more people being glorified, right? And could that be the reason this kid was so-called radicalized? But anyway, so it appears Charlie Kirk's killer has been caught, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. He was turned in by his dad. And unfortunately, we are continuing to see the worst of humanity because people are now harassing his parents. I want to say we're better than this, but it's clear that we're not. We should be better than this. His parents turned him in. Let's see what we got here. These are people, murder. You can delete the post, but you can't delete your son's past. Tyler's a dead man. Disgusting, mate. Your son is going to hell in your disgrace. Yeah, I don't think they need to be harassing his family. His family didn't condone this, and they're the ones who turned him in. How does a family of registered Republicans go so wrong? It's a lot of people are saying that they're Republicans too, but we're going to scroll down here because there's a whole stuff going on. Data Republican, who's a brilliant researcher. The name Tyler Robinson is extremely common in Utah, similar to John Smith. Do not share, spread, or assume any information about someone named Tyler Robinson unless you have verified with absolute certainty that it refers to the correct individual. And again, I go back to that little meme here. If your name is Tyler Robinson or you're related to someone named Tyler Robinson in Utah, you need to just get off the computer right now. You really do, because the so-called internet sleuths often get shit wrong. Who radicalized Tyler Robinson? The full audit of his digital footprint must be made public, and those responsible for the radicalization must be held accountable as if they pulled the trigger themselves. No. I don't want to start doing that either, okay? We do not want to start blaming other people specifically for pulling the trigger. We can certainly examine how people spoke and whatnot, and if there are people who actually said, hey, Tyler, you need to go get him. Then, yeah, we'll worry about that. But just, I don't want people to, if there's a right-wing nut job who does some shit like this, I don't want that happening to people around that person either. Even though the left will obviously do that. So, let's see, what else here? His name is Tyler Robinson. You should, if your name is Tyler Robinson, you should either delete your social media or put not that Tyler Robinson somewhere, like in your name. Just put it, if you're a Tyler Robinson in Utah, change your handle to not that Tyler Robinson. So anyway, people are just showing all kinds of things. Yes, Tyler Robinson was a registered Republican in Utah, according to state records. Whoa, which Tyler Robinson, asshole? Which Tyler Robinson? Which Tyler Robinson? There are anyway, now they show a picture with the matching shoes. And again, this is the guy who was this is what he was wearing at the event. Good morning, Select a Boy. What's up? Yeah, boy. Okay, so they got the matching shoes of this guy. Okay, so anyway, let's see. So yeah, they're going to try to say, oh, he's a registered Republican. Except he also was at Democratic Socialists of America events. Tyler Robinson's family definitely had experience with rifles, and it looks like Tyler had been shooting for a long time, so it simply lines up with his ability to proficiently take that shot. Also, I'm not saying anything about guns themselves. This is specifically addressing the likelihood of whether he could actually be the shooter or not. Also, I'm blocking the family members' faces. Well, good. That's probably a good idea. Let's not get his family in the crosshair, especially since his family turned him in. And also, look, if you're a pretty good hunter, I mean, people hunt in Utah. They hunt elk and probably some other shit, deer and whatnot. And, 200 yards with a scope, can you hit a deer? I know I can. I can hit a deer 200 yards without a scope. Now, maybe not in a specific part of its body, but with a scope, I probably could if you have everything, if you have everything clicked out right or not. So anyway, now that we know this is this is one of those common takes too. This is funny to me because they say, now that we know this is a white dude, I want y'all to keep the same energy y'all had with the dude on the bus. I want Elon and Trump holding up the dude's picture and everything. You don't think that he will hold up the picture of this asshole? If what do you mean? But here's Dinesh D'Souza, who found something of this kid talking. And so this is, anyone who says, oh, he was a registered Republican. Let's listen to this, which Dinesh D'Souza says, if you have any doubt about the responsibility of academia in turning relatively normal kids into monsters, I give you Tyler Robinson. Listen to this little ditty. And I definitely no relation there.
Okay. Congratulations, you have been selected to receive the Resident Presidential Scholarship from Utah State University. The value of this scholarship is approximately $32,000. This scholarship is available
So he went to
for 4
Utah
years or 8
State.
semesters.
What is that? Wait, that doesn't tell. Dinesh, I was expecting something really good there. All you're saying is he got a scholarship to Utah State. Holy shit, I am embarrassed that I even clicked on that. What the fuck? That doesn't tell me anything, Dinesh. Other than he went to Utah State University. Oh, God. This kid was normal until he wasn't. Yeah. And honestly, I don't care about this kid. Fuck that guy if he actually did the shooting. And I don't care. Look, whether he had shot in Charlie Kirk or he had shot in Cenk Uygur or anyone, any spectrum of politics. In fact, the asshole who shot Melissa Hortman in Minnesota, fuck that guy too. No, we don't assassinate people for politics or any other reason. So fuck all those guys. I don't care. But Dinesh, Dinesh, that tells me nothing. The Democratic Socialists of America meeting that he was at, that tells me a little more, but whatever. So anyway, happy Halloween. So weird. Not trick-or-treating with the boys this year. Off they go. Leave the family alone. Leave the family alone. This is not Tyler Robinson. Stop posting that it is. You're putting his life in danger. Oh, that's not him? Because the mugshot they keep showing, that is not him. That's not the same face. That's a different face. So this is not him. So, okay, again, that's not the DSA shirt is not him. Again, stop. Oh my God. I feel bad because I actually let that be shown. Let's find the guy with the shoes up here because that is the matching shoes guy. Yeah, you're right. That is a different face. That is a different kid. This is the kid. This is the actual Tyler Robinson they're talking about. They had the picture of where they matched up the shoes. Okay. It's not the Tyler Robinson in the red shirt. That's a different one. This is apparently him. Charlie Kirk assassinated was identified as 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. And he looks like a weak liberal bitch. We imagine what. Well, no. How do you look like a? Oh my God. See, this is where I go astray from some of my brethren in the conservative right side of the aisle. How do you look like that? You don't know. If Charlie Kirk were liberal, but he looked exactly the same, would you know the difference until he opened his mouth? Come on, guys. Come on. A lot of people putting out videos saying, I am Charlie Kirk. In fact, I saw a whole montage of people saying, I am Charlie Kirk. Ed Krassenstein, is it safe to say that Charlie Kirk's alleged killer, Tyler Robinson, is not transgender? How do you know that, Ed? I've always been told that you can be transgender and not change anything about you. And he had some stuff etched into some of the equipment he had that were in support of transgender people. But it doesn't matter. Who cares? Who cares? He's not transgender as far as you can see, Ed. How do you know he's not non-binary? And non-binary people say they're transgender. We don't know. We don't know anything about him yet. All we know is that he's been arrested, and that's all they've told us. And that they have evidence that he was the guy. And we have witnesses that say he was the guy. And we have family who turned him in. In the immortal words of Clark Kent in Superman comics number 3, the third comic book. There was the original Superman and there's the second one and the third one. In the immortal words of Clark Kent in number 3 issue of Superman comic books, shut the fuck up. Seriously. Yeah, Clark Kent really said that. Okay, moving on. So Tyler Robinson, the ugly horse-eyed 22-year-old piece of shit that shot Charlie Kirk with a .30-06. How did he become radicalized as a 20-year-old middle class living in Utah? The left are just spawning straight up demons. Here's the other part we don't know. And I assume that this is true, but I'm not going to I can't confirm any of it. I'm assuming that this is someone who hated Charlie Kirk and whatever, radicalized, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know that because we don't have that information yet. But a lot of people are jumping to the conclusion, and I can understand why you would jump to that conclusion. I personally think that's probably right. But I'm not going to say so definitively until someone confirms that for me. Maybe there's a manifesto. Maybe there's some social media stuff about it. Maybe there's all kinds of shit that says, yeah, he's one of these DSA fucking left-wing socialist motherfuckers that hates Charlie Kirk because of Israel and transgender people. It's a strong possibility. And it makes sense to most people. But we don't know it for a fact yet. Hello, Chris Dees. People should be able to have dialogue with each other. If you disagree, say your piece and keep it moving. There's no need for violence. This goes for all sides. You get a bell. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. Let's see. The right spent the last 2 days trying to start some sort of civil war, and the guy they caught wasn't a Democrat, wasn't trans, it wasn't black. He was just some kid in Utah raised in a Republican household, Tyler Robinson. Do you know that for sure? Do you know that for sure? Again, you can't make any inferences either way, and we don't know that this kid was Republican. We don't know that, okay? We don't know anything about him yet. Everyone, stop jumping to conclusions. You make your assumptions. Oh my God, no one said he was black. No, what they're referencing is the murder in Charlotte. Because everyone's saying, oh, this is, but you know my opinion, well, those of you around here enough know my opinion on people using the 1350 arguments, whatever, because it's kind of, in a way, it's a dumb argument because no, 13% of the people don't commit 50% of the murders or whatever. A 0.134% of the 13% have committed murders. When you say 13% commit them, you're saying that all of us black people do that. I've never even pointed a knife at anybody before, let alone shot anybody, killed anybody. But that's why black people get pissed off when people use that. It's like, look, the problem that you should be concerned about when you use those statistics is, for me, the leading cause of death of young men, black men, ages 15 to 45, is homicide. Now, people dying in that age range, it's kind of rare already, and even being dying from homicide is rare when they're considered there's 40 million black people in the United States. But no, violent crime. Well, murders. It was murders, but violent crime, whatever, it's still committed by less than 1% of the 40 million black people in America. So you know what I'm saying? That's why people get pissed off when you use that statistic. Now, it happens within a demographic, but guess what? I'm in that demographic. I don't even live in the hood where it happens the most. But it is a problem, and we should be addressed, especially in those areas where the crime is high. And we got to figure out how to lower it, because it is important. 55% of murder victims are black in the United States. Or homicide victims. I won't say necessarily murder victims, but homicide victims are black. So that's a problem. But it's not 13% of the population committing it. That's 40 million people. No, they're not 40 million black murderers, okay? You see what I'm saying? That's why it's a problem, but we got to put it in a perspective and also figure out, we got to pinpoint it. We got to be more accurate. Okay, so anyway, thank you, Tire. Witchfinder Tire, dropping a Drace in the tip jar, and you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Hello, K-Shaw, by the way. Tire Alexander says, the problem witchfinders have is there are no witches, but that is a small problem. If you can't find any, just invent some. To innocent Tyler Robinson, I bear you no ill. Oh, to innocent Tyler Robinsons, I bear you no ill will, and pray the witchfinders don't find you and drag you before the screaming sheep. Yeah, it's got to be careful with that kind of shit. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate it. There's a lot of Tyler Robinsons in Utah who didn't do shit, okay? So anyway, they got him. His name is Tyler Robbins. His mom, Amber, is a social worker who studied at Utah University. There's a white privileged liberal, exactly as I expected. We don't know that the mom's a liberal either. We can't assume anything. Tyler's mom is deleting all the pictures of him, so I guess it's true. Yeah, interesting. They got him. They got the bastard who shot Charlie Kirk. The fucker's name is Tyler Robinson. His dad turned him in. Now try him, hang him, and let his body around the rope. Let's not do that. Let's make sure he gets a fair trial and whatnot. And don't attempt to contact all the Tyler Robinsons in Utah right now. That's all I got to say about that. Okay. And this is not him. This is not him. Stop putting that picture up there. His father turned him in. Kudos to his parents. All right, so enough about Tyler Robinson. Look, it's Friday. Let's do Friday Q&A. I was gonna go through a bunch of videos of these people talking about Charlie Kirk in various ways. There's a bunch of stuff in the aggregator too. In fact, I'm just show you some of the headlines in the aggregator before we go to Friday Q&A. If you haven't dropped any questions, you still have a chance. Let's see. Some of the articles, though. Report alleged Charlie Kirk assassins ammo engraved with transgender messages. FBI releases photos of person of interest in Charlie Kirk's murder search, where they found him now. Charlie Kirk was the fatal neck shot, the work of a skilled sniper. I don't know. Maybe he's just a really good hunter. A good hunter could probably make that shot from 200 yards. Trump vows to catch each and every person or organization involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I'm concerned with that. Okay? Again, let's not go off the rails too much here. We don't know if any organization did that, or if you just online listening to fucking Hassan Piker or some shit. We don't know. But to go out and murder someone is fucked up. And so I doubt if anyone said, I don't, unless you could prove like Reid Hoffman paid the kid to go assassinate Charlie Kirk. That's a dangerous way to look at it. That's a dangerous way to look at it, in my opinion. Governor vows to seek death penalty in Kirk assassination. That's the Utah governor, Spencer Cox, who we just saw earlier. Charlie's Murder's website exposes leftist cheering. Assassinated Charlie Kirk. We'll open that one up. We might have to extend the show a little bit here. We'll come back to that. Other headlines. Charlie Kirk's prescient message on assassination culture before his death. Charlie Kirk wore his skirt too short. Because people are saying the reason is because he says bad things that they don't like, so they should murder him. That he deserved to be dead. Holy shit, I didn't even scroll through this. There's so many Charlie Kirk articles in the links today. Florida pledges to hold teacher accountable who celebrated Charlie Kirk's death. We've got people say online saying, they were in a classroom and the kids cheered and the teacher supported their cheering, saying that he was a bad person. University of Michigan professor bankrolled by Gates Foundation celebrates Charlie Kirk's assassination. Unindemned lawmaker compares slain Charlie Kirk to Charlotte train murderer. Sleazy vulgar Comperlite anti-Trump fanatic ham-hock nippled George Conway compares Charlie Kirk to a Nazi trooper. Holy fuck. You got to go through some of these articles. But here, let's see. Charlie's Murder's website exposes, here it is. Let's try this. They put up a website. Charlie Kirk was murdered as an employee or student of yours supporting political violence online. Look them up on this website. Send information to anyone celebrating Charlie's death. We've received 20,000 submissions. This website will soon be converted into a searchable database of all 20,000 submissions filtered by general location, job, and job industry. This is permanent and continuously updating archive of radical activists calling for violence. Yeah, there are a lot of people saying this is good and they should keep doing it. Oh my, and then they got him in here, posts on X. Yeah, they've got him just spewing down here. So look, I have reservations about this kind of stuff too. I'm not a fan of people, you expose someone doing some shitty stuff online and then you send thousands of people to go harass them. I'm not necessarily cool with that either. Mike has bad knees. Good morning. I don't think anyone should be getting fired. I'm anti-cancel culture. I have a problem with it. Unless you're doing, like, if you're a professor in a classroom and you are saying, yeah, he should have been shot, that might be a problem. I can see you getting fired for that. But people give their opinions online and they work at, the, fucking KFC as a frying chicken all day. Whatever. I don't care. I don't think you should be losing your job unless your job is specifically in an area where this is, highly inappropriate. It has something to do with your job. So anyway, I know a lot of people are saying war too. The doxing stuff and calling people out, it becomes a dangerous game that perpetuates and people go and harass them, maybe committing violence against them. I don't want that to happen to anybody. So yeah, fuck the people who are saying that kind of shit, but I also don't want you to, just leave them, let them be, and maybe they'll shut the fuck up. Maybe they won't, who cares? But anyway, the links, I'm putting the link in the website in my links today. What the fuck? All right, let's get to Friday Q&A because otherwise I'll run out of time. We already did the first few questions in Friday Q&A, and Lord Stanhope is dominating the field today. But anyway, I put the aggregator here, which I put in every day, which is the Ace of Spades blog morning report, where I get a lot of articles on things. Will be in the links today. Here's today's intro by JJ Septon. It says, "Good morning, kids. As of the time I am composing this post, the authorities are still on the hunt for Charlie Kirk. But we know this morning they found him. And any Confederates. Now there's a word pregnant with meaning in this context, and certainly all the suffering, misery, dislocation, and waste of human life and potential that the Democratic left have inflicted on this country for 2 centuries. Yesterday in the comments, I quipped that given the current wave of domestic terrorism incidents, I wouldn't be surprised if the shooter was either transsexual or transsexual adjacent. So while the killer or killers remain at large, evidently the weapon and some ammunition have been recovered at the scene, have seemed to support my snarky yet potential accurate assertion. Well, we know that he's probably not, but that's okay. Reports from Stephen. Okay, we saw this yesterday. See, I'm so ahead of the game that I already talked about this yesterday because Steven Crowder had that thing, and I said take it with a grain of salt until there's an official word that happened. But that some of the equipment, the clip, the bullets and stuff were engraved with shit that had to do with transgenderism. Well, they confirmed that this morning, that there was some stuff like that. And so, yeah, there you go. You know what? I'm not even going to read this. We're going to just go to Friday Q&A. But first, thank you. Mike has bad knees dropping a Hamilton in the tip jar by a YouTube super chat. Thank you, sir. Who says, there we go. Dropped a 10 for the hard work. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. You more than you know. Thank you so much. All right, let's get into Friday Q&A, and then we're going to get out of here because I ran over time. I want to stream again maybe tomorrow, though, because I want to go through, I have a whole slew of videos that I thought were good and I thought were bad, and some were just fucking ugly, of people talking about this Charlie Kirk thing. And didn't get to it today on Friday Free For All, so maybe I'll just have a separate show dedicated to that. Just watch your notifications. All right, back to Friday Q&A. Lord Stanhope asks, does it really matter that the left is acting reprehensibly again? No, it's just par for the course. But you know what? In these kinds of situations, there are always going to be reprehensible people, no matter who it is and no matter what side of the aisle those people are on. And we saw it when, for example, when Paul Pelosi got attacked. We didn't see it. Now, the other thing, though, people keep bringing up, and a lot of people are like, oh, there was a school shooting yesterday. Oh, 88 days ago, Melissa Hartman from Minnesota also got shot and killed, and her husband or whatever, and we didn't have all this fanfare for them. Well, I can tell you why. I can tell you exactly why that's the case. In that case, nobody knew who the fuck Melissa Hartman was, and people still condemned it. In fact, Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, condemned it. The Steve Scalise condemned it. A bunch of Republicans condemned it, even though people are saying, oh, well, I never heard of people from Republicans. No, and in fact, even Donald Trump said, we get to get a handle on this political violence. But the reason it didn't make big news is because it was Melissa Hartman. Nobody knows who the fuck I live in Minnesota, and she's the Speaker of the House in the Minnesota legislature, and I didn't know who she was. But fuck the guy who shot her. I'm telling you, fuck that guy. But it wasn't national news because nobody knew her nationally. Charlie Kirk, on the other hand, is well known nationally. So that's why it's a bigger deal. And the fact that the political assassination was seen live on the internet and other places, and they got pictures of him being shot in the neck that were all over the internet the day it happened, within hours, less than hours of when it happened. So a political assassination of that scope, seen on, where you have live on Memorex or whatever, for those who know that reference, that's why it's such a national story. Nobody knew who Melissa Hartman was, nor did they have video of her being killed. And it happened on a college campus in front of thousands of students who all had, their cameras going and got it on video. So that makes a big difference on how much of a national story it is. Where was I? Lord Stanhope asks, follow up from my previous, because at this point, is there any more discussion to have? Yes, the discussion to have is this type of political violence acceptable? Which should be an obvious answer, no. But there are a lot of people online who not only say, hey, this is great, some celebrate it, and some are saying, we need more of this. And that's where I get concerned. The copycats. And now it's like anyone who has an opinion they don't like can be shot? Yeah, that matters. Lord Sandow asks, have you noticed the left doesn't have a Charlie Kirk or even anything close, not even a Crowder? Yeah, they do. We just don't pay attention to them as much. For example, the Midas Touch people, they have a huge podcast. We don't know because we don't watch it, right? They have a few people. They had Cenk, but Cenk, a lot of people on the left hate Cenk. They have them, not necessarily one that goes out to campuses and stuff, but they have them. Maybe not on the scale of Charlie Kirk, though, but they do. Lord Stanhope asks, if you could construct a satellite that would drop 20 tons of turd from suborbit, what nation or city would you drop it on? Ooh. To be honest, what nation or city would you drop it on? 20 tons of turd. 20 tons of turd. I don't know. Chat, you're going to have to come up with an answer for that. Put some answers in the chat for that. I mean, North Korea? Or no, but not even North Korea. Just right on top of the Pyongyang. I don't know. But you know what? That's the innocents to suffer. That's the problem. And turds, it's sticky. It's nasty. It's smelly. Eritrea. The left tries to equate that Dean Withers kid is to Charlie. Well, no, he's not the same as Charlie. He's just one of those people who have been hounding Charlie, wanting to debate him. And look, we saw the video of Dean yesterday. He was in tears over this. He was like, no, this is fucking wrong. As much as he can't stand Charlie Kirk and is complete opposite of him almost in every topic, Dean was just destroyed over this. And and was saying, yeah, this needs to go. Oh, Portland. You know, if I didn't like Portland, the city itself, so much, but God, those assholes who live in Portland, my God. Anyway, moving on. Lord Stanhope asks, if you could construct, oh, that's where you did that. Ms. Wild Wolf asks, did you know about the book, The Assassination of Charlie Kirk, that was released the day before he was shot? Yes, that's interesting. Not only was there a book that came, that at least the cover of it came out on the 9th, The Assassination of Charlie Kirk. You can find it on Amazon. It tells you the publish date is the 9th, and he got shot on the 10th. Also, there were 2 headlines from, I think one was the New York Times. I can't remember what the other outlet was. On the 9th, Charlie Kirk shot and killed. That were published on the 9th of September. With no story. They just, all of a sudden, they were just poof. There they are, the headlines. And then the next day, it happens. Now, I thought this was, the only reason I saw this, an Alex Jones was talking about it, but then I was like, it's Alex Jones. We worry about what Alex Jones says sometimes. But then I found them. They were actually there, and they were published the day before he was shot. So that's interesting. Lord Stanhope asks, what is your preferred brand of glue to use? And is it different to the brand you sniff? Well, Gorilla Glue is probably my preferred brand of glue, although I do like Elmer's wood glue for doing woodworking, but Gorilla Glue is my favorite. And the glue I sniff is an off-brand of Super Glue, so you would know what it was anyway. Lord Stanhope asks, do you appreciate the irony of Charlie Kirk being the last person willing to engage with leftists? He's not the last. He's not the last at all. There, in fact, like for David Allen, what's the Bet guy? What's his name? He engaged with leftists. There's a lot of conservatives who will engage with leftists. Lord Stanhope, what's for dinner, and will it determine what type of weekend you will have? Well, we haven't decided dinner yet. Lady Boomer and I are taking Grandma to a jazz festival in Minneapolis tomorrow, and so maybe it'll be a light dinner of just some. I might not even eat dinner. I might just have some pistachios while watching Netflix, but it will not determine what kind of weekend I will have because we already have a nice weekend planned. Patrick Bet Davis, thank you. That guy. Tire. Lord Stanhope asks, I know you are a heathen that continues the old ways and pays homage to the old gods, but if you idolize someone who is destined for hell, should they follow their idol into the flame? Huh. If you idolize someone who is destined for hell, should they follow their idol into the flame? You mean if someone else idolizes someone destined for hell? Because I know what you meant. Okay. That's a big maybe. That's a big maybe. Well, maybe. Yeah, well, sure. I'm going to say yes. I got nothing else to say about that. Select Boy asks, what would be the one good advice you'd give to someone that really needs it? Don't be afraid to take risks. Not crazy risks, but just risks. Risks, and oh, you know what the other would be? Slow down and enjoy the good things around you. The reason I say that is because we do a lot of driving, traveling by car. And Lady Boomer and I, when we started doing these little weekend one-day trips, we discovered so many cool things, so many beautiful things, so many interesting things that most people just never see because they never stop. They never slow down to say, oh, wait, what's this historical marker going to say? A little brown sign, historical marker. Or, there's a state park that we've never been to. Why haven't it's within 20 miles? Why haven't we gone there? And so we go there. And that's been such a rewarding thing. We've learned a lot of things. We see a lot of cool stuff. We go to quirky museums too. We went to the Runestone Museum in Alexandria, Minnesota. We went to the National Surfing Museum in Oceanside, California. I'm not a surfer. I don't know shit about surfing, but we went to that museum and it was really cool. We went to a county museum in Lake City, Minnesota. It was just a bunch of old artifacts and stuff. It was built in this old schoolhouse, and it just had all this cool shit in there that we wouldn't have seen had we not just said, hey, let's stop there and see what's in it. Stop to see cool stuff that you never know what you're going to see, but take time to stop and see shit. Lord Stanhope asks, oh, AD, you're in the house. What's up? Good morning, Advocatus Diaboli. Lord Stan, and applies, by the way, you're going to have to stop the questions. I'm going to run out of time here. Lord Stanhope says, you walk into a room filled with exquisite women. They are charmed by your stories of Wisconsin. We don't have that many stories about Wisconsin. I live in Minnesota, but I was just in Wisconsin driving to Chicago, and I made a couple cool stops there. They are charmed by your stories of Wisconsin and ply you with wine for more tales. They call for dinner, and it's a collection of heads. What do you do? What kind of heads? I mean, if it's pig heads, there's edible parts of a pig head. But no, actually, I immediately leave and run. I run. It's like someone saying the word equity. Run. Lord Stanhope, what's the best oil to fry someone in? Would you stop it with the weird questions about cannibalism? Stop. I'm not answering that. Peanut oil. Lord Stanhope asks, why during riots do we use fresh, clean drinking water to disperse the crowds when we could dump a pump in? Does that mean when you could spray them with nasty shit? Well, they don't always use clean drinking water. Sometimes they use types of gas and everything else. But yeah, it is a waste of drinking water. Lord Stanhope asks, you walk into a room full of men with uniforms. They're friendly and cordial and are free with the beer. They bring out dinner and you notice they are Nazis and dinner is pleading for its life. You do... I do everything I can not to join the buffet. Select Boy asks, what would be the one thing that gets you so exasperated that you can't deal with it anymore? Bad drivers. Left lane slowpokes. And the shit like that. I drive a lot. Select Boy asks, is the pen truly mightier than the sword? Here's a thing about that. I just saw a video about something like this. So someone was saying that, violent revolution is the only answer to certain things. And so there's a study about from movements that are violent versus movements that are nonviolent. And what they found is that nonviolent movements are about 70% more successful as far as getting something accomplished than violent movements. They start from the beginning of the 20th century up to today. Nonviolent movements are far more effective than violent movements. Violent movements tend to get people killed, and so they have no more movement. So is the pen mightier than the sword? Well, if the pen's part of a nonviolent movement, yeah, absolutely. Because words can inspire people. The sword just kills people. So there's a big difference. Lord Stanhope, can you all in the chat pray for the Kirk family? Absolutely. And that's a great idea. Hello, Robert Banks. What's up? I too thought peanut oil. That's so fucking terrible. That's so terrible. Advocatus Diaboli, welcome. How you doing, brother? I'm giving you a bell just for being here. Advocatus Diaboli says, so about that Adam Schiff thumbnail. You motherfucker. You motherfucker. Have you unseen it yet? I haven't thought about it until the last time you brought it up. since the last time you brought it up, you motherfucker. Avocado Diablo asks, is there a grassy knoll at the Utah Valley College by any chance? No. The grassy knoll, if there was one, was covered by college students. They definitely got pictures of that asshole on the roof. As Selected Boy said, where did you get that spam shirt from? I got it from the Spam Museum in Austin, Minnesota. And in fact, they have a website where you can order all kinds of spam merch. They have some cool shit in the Spam Museum merch shop too. But if you ever get a chance, you're ever in Austin, Minnesota, you thought that, speaking of quirky museums, the Spam Museum in Austin, Minnesota is fascinating. There is so much cool stuff in there. And it's free, first of all. You go through it for free. And they have guided tours for free of the Spam Museum. So someone can take you through the museum and tell you all about this history of not only Austin, Minnesota and Spam, but just everything that Spam has done. We went there about, about a month ago. Took one of my son's friends and his girlfriend, me and Lady Boomer, we all went down, and it was such an interesting museum. And again, that kind of with my question, the question of what would you give people advice to do? Go stop and see cool shit or stuff that potentially cool. Go to quirky museums. Go stop at roadside attractions. Stop at historical markers and just take it in and learn shit. And sometimes you'll be blown away by the things you stop and see. So anyway, all right, where am I at here? There we go. Lord Selected Boy asks, should tourists receive home training before they fly to another country? I don't know about home training, but it is important to at least take some time to learn about the place you're going, some of the customs that you may or be different. For example, when we went to Spain, they have a whole different tipping culture there. For example, it's kind of a lack of tipping culture, but if it's tips there, they kind of get insulted if you over tip. As much as, they don't get upset, but they just like, oh, wow, this is wild. But yeah, you should always at least, and also there's some do's and don'ts in every little country. Learn the do's and don'ts because some of those don'ts can land you in prison. All right. Let's see. Chris Diaz asks, do you think that if the educational system is changed to where critical thinking classes and life skills classes are prioritized, would that improve this nation? 100%. Here's the problem. Education is evolved. Because it's funny because I saw someone complaining, the educational report just came out and people are at reading and math skills are at their lowest level in so many years. Oh, you're an asshole if you want to end the Department of Education. Hey, dickheads. Guess when that decline happened? Since we've had the Department of Education. That should tell you that the Department of Education ain't doing shit. But relating to this question, part of the problem is right now, our educational system seems to be focused on creating little sycophants for the left's fever dreams. And what I mean by that is they're infusing their ideologies and politics into every fucking subject. So if you have a math subject, there's going to be a question about how many transgender surgeries does this person need, times the number of, that's a dumb question. Anyway, they're infusing ideology into every course, everything, rather than teaching people to read, write, do math, and think, and make decisions for themselves. It's known as indoctrination. And so what your question was, if they taught critical thinking and life skills, that would improve a lot of things. Abso-fucking-lutely. Avocado Seattle asks, can you restart the stream for me? I am not awake enough to figure out how to go back to the beginning on my own. Well, here's what you can do, AD. When I end the stream, hit play again. It'll start over. And you'll see, and plus you'll see the press conference on them finding this little shitbag who they believe shot Charlie Kirk. Ms. Wild Wolf asks, if you could turn back time and save two people throughout time, who would they be and why? Save two people. I mean, it's kind of when you say save two people, like, for example, would I save Prince because I think he's just a genius musically and whatnot? Yeah, but is that saving him like from peril, or is just from his, whatever happened to him with the prescribed drugs that killed him in his elevator? But especially if I'm a musician, that would be one person I would like, because I'd like to pick his brain and just start learning some of the stuff that he knows musically, because I'm really into music. So that'd be one. And Archduke Ferdinand, that'd be a good one too. That might be, gosh, imagine that one. Archduke Ferdinand. What if he never died and you didn't have World War I? How much would that have changed the trajectory of many things, including World War II Germany? Wouldn't that be wild? Anyway, let's see. Avocado Staley asks, why would you say peanut oil is the best oil for cooking human when it is well known that it's sesame seed oil? No. Because you'd have to use one of those giant turkey fryers for body parts and shit. Okay, that's gross. Stop it. No more cannibalism questions. Midnight asks, what state were you born in? Well, believe it or not, Midnight, I was born right here in Minnesota. Now, I didn't grow up in Minnesota, but my natural mother, who was in home in Cedar Falls, Iowa with her family, and when she got pregnant, it was back in those days when Catholics didn't send their kids away to have their children. And so she got sent to St. Paul, Minnesota, and I was born in St. Paul. In fact, I was baptized in the St. Paul Cathedral, which is that giant church on the hill. But then I ended up in a foster home in Dubuque, Iowa for 4 years. And then my family adopted me and I grew up in Omaha. Then I moved to Des Moines for college. And after college, I moved to the Twin Cities, not knowing that I was born in the Twin Cities. So that is so the state is Minnesota. Avocados Diablo asks, have you ever woken up lying at the bottom of a staircase dressed as Shirley Temple while Nancy Pelosi tap dances on the steps in blackface dressed like Mr. Bojangles carrying a hammer? Not that I can remember, but I very well could have been pretty drunk. I don't know. Ms. Wild Wolf asked, did you know the creators of the Department of Education is the Rockefellers and the Gates families? Yeah, kind of. I mean, that was a Jimmy Carter thing, and he got actually. It was also kind of a gift to the teacher unions, but I didn't know that it was the Rockefellers and the Gates families. So the answer is no, but that sounds about right. Avocados Diablo asks, do you think cannibals have tasting contests where they try and guess where the person was from and by how they taste? I told you, no more cannibal questions, damn it! And finally, the last question on this week's Friday Q&A comes from none other than Lord Stanhope, who asked the amazing question: was Friday Q&A all just a big mistake? Maybe. I said no more questions, Midnight, but because you're on my new favorite list of young viewers, I'm going to take this one last question. No more. Midnight asked, did you know that you are my teacher for my first hour class, aka current events? I did not know that. Lord bless your soul. And I hope it never comes back to haunt you, dear. But I hope I'm a good teacher. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I'm going to put the, here, let me drop the links here. Do I even have links? Well, I have some links. So, and the aggregators here and the holiday calendars here. So yeah, there's actually links today, even though I didn't really do any. And I also have a links directly to the replay of the, whatchamacallit, the FBI and whatever press conference of them finding that little shitbag who may or may not have killed Charlie Kirk. So here come the links, and as soon as that thing changes, there we go, copy and paste. Here are the links from today in the chat, and they'll be in the description of this video / stream for your viewing pleasure. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have a great week. I may or may not stream this weekend for a change. Who knows? We'll see. But if I don't, I'll definitely be back Monday. You have an amazing weekend. My name is PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thanks for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.